to have a serious focus on what we need to do. Regarding the courts, we know delay of cases, we know about the Administration of Justice Act, which my friend Wahab said, good law on paper, but practically is not working well. Interlocutory appeals, and Nigeria is the only country that has that in the world. I've checked where you have criminal procedure and somebody, for lack of ordinary notice, failure of notice, says, the judge rules now, I'm going to appeal that, and I'll appeal to the Supreme Court. Whereas the main case is still standing there, witnesses are running away, evidence is lost.
3 years.
3 years, 4 years. At the end of the day, even the judge gets tired, everything just gets bogged down, and the criminal now walks away free. What have we achieved? And that is where we have to look at that. When you have judges just doing things structurally, fundamental changes must be in the judiciary. You have a judge sitting at their still writing in longhand in this age. He's tired. Lots of things that we need to change.
You mean he writes in longhand?
Yeah. That's what the rule says he has to do. I mean, so when you see judges and their hands are like this, that's what I'm sorry, that's what they do. They're writing longhand all the time. You don't have electronic equipment to record proceedings and so on and so forth. In the US right now, it's actually illegal to file paper documents. You don't have electronic filing. Those are the things that we need to put in place. If we are going to fight corruption, we need to take advantage of new technology to do things.
Perhaps those are the kind of models that the acting president is talking about.
Well, the acting president, it's not that the acting president knows that. He's a lawyer of great repute. Go to any country in the world now and see how to do things like electronic filing, whereas all the lawyers involved in the case will get the same notice at the same time. So when you get to court, it's not like I didn't get notice, I didn't get served. So that it cuts down the time.
So who needs to effect that?
Well, that's another thing. Here in our country, the steps and levels of implementation. So if you go now and suggest that, we'll have to go and talk to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Chief Justice will say, I need to talk to the Judicial Commission, because they're the one that puts money in place. So you run into the judiciary, and I've been there, and I have raised my voice against certain things, and it's like we always find a problem with every solution in that area. It's very frustrating, especially when you come from somewhere where you see things work, and then you come home and it's really, really sad. And there's a platitude, there's a ready-made answer. Oh, it can't work here. And you go like, what do you mean it can't work here? Do they have 4 sets of eyes over the way it works? Let us put our feet down. Let us go to work. Let us be creative. Let us just go to the grind and work at it and keep on working at it. It's not about talking to people about corruption. It's when the public see corrupt folks being punished.
And no that takes a whole lot of process.
Yeah, it takes but the process, that's what I'm talking about, fundamental change in the process. So we have to go at it one by and then have a holistic approach at it. Investigation, prosecution, let us just look at it. People running around talking about asset recovery and so that's just one part of it. And I had Mr. Shishu say, well, the focus of the government is actually to recover the great agenda. But is that affecting the fight against corruption?
That's a big point where we'll take a moment, and then we'll be back and continue from that particular perspective in just a moment. Do join us again. Just looking through all of this, you've talked about the process, but do you think that at the end of this tenure, when the next tenure does come in, do you see them continuing, or do you think that by then we may have sufficiently institutionalized the fight against corruption?
I think it will be a failure of any incoming government not to continue the fight. We have to continue the fight. Whichever way they want to do it, we have to continue, because without fighting corruption, Nigeria cannot survive. It's just as simple as that. So it's a major, major fight. But we have to look at those things that we're doing wrong now. We have to review what we are doing now and look at the effectiveness of what we've been doing. The court system must be adjusted fundamentally. the judiciary fundamentally to make trials to go fast, to preserve evidence, to get rid of interlocutory appeals, to empower the judges to do their job efficiently. I mean, you go to some courtrooms and you're sitting down there. I mean, it's so hard. Everything. I mean, we have to look at those things because they matter. At the end of the day, every little aspect of this is important. So I know people talk about Singapore or China where they kill people or for corruption and so on and so forth. Even if we have that as an intention, can we trust the judiciary enough not to convict the wrong people and have them beheaded or have them killed because of corruption? So I am not in support of death penalty for corruption, because even with the countries where they do so, they have structures that will look and review before somebody is put to death for anything. We are not there yet. We are not even getting people into prisons yet.
So what's the biggest challenge for our fight against corruption?
The biggest challenge right now, one, investigation. Proper investigation of corruption, and then prosecution. If you don't prosecute properly, you cannot punish. Corruption must be punished for it to become a deterrent. If you don't punish people who commit bad stuff, criminals who commit, people will just take advantage and say, well, look, at the end of the day, just going to take this money and that's it. I'm walking away. So we have to empower the prosecutors. We have to empower the investigators. We have to preserve evidence. Now we have to now work with the judiciary to shorten the time for trial, to make trial just go as seamless as possible. Cut down all these issues of interlocutory appeals and all those. And just face trial. Put a time limit to it. Investigators, you can't bring your... It happens in other country.
What about the severity of the kind of punishment that is being given? Now, I remember a case of a deal gone bad, and a person was asked to just return a couple of 100,000 naira and made away so much billions.
Yeah, it's only because you still have give judges discretion in penalties and so on and so forth. You're so right. I mean, enough penalties are in the law. And now, when judges don't have the discretion if you have mandatory sentences, for instance, they say, well, if you stole so much, mandatorily you have to spend 10 to 20 years in jail. They have that in other countries, but I don't think we have that yet. But so judges can still look at it. I mean, lawyers can come and make statements on behalf of the accused to reduce sentences. So that's but at least let us even get to the point where we sentence people to jail first. Whether it's going to be short or it's going to be long, but let's get to that point. I don't see a lot of people in jail yet, and that is why I'm emphasizing this. Asset recovery is great, good approach. Let us work prosecution, investigation. People in the slammers, I'm going to go there. I mean, nobody wants to be a prisoner. So it messes up your name, your family is in trouble. So it's a big deterrent, and that's what we should be shooting for.
All right, then we've come to the point where we need to wrap up the show. Mr. Muyiwa Shobo is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And that's the show today as well. We thank you all for watching and for sending in your comments too. We will be back tomorrow, as always. I'm Chamberlain Oso. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. I'm Gimba Umar.
Thank you, Amalfe Ogun.